Good whenever this is. Not legal advice. Like, subscribe. Good afternoon. Hello. Hope everybody is well. Yes. Um, I'm going to do a quick video on capybara part 2. That's related to finger motion, which is related to GTII, theoretically. Of course, not financial or not legal advice. Before I get started, of course, uh, amazing thing happened. My leaf blower stopped working. It sucks. Now back to the main part of this capybara scene. So, we talked about the original short report that Capybara made today, or actually last night, prior to the enforcement proceedings, probably because of the enforcement proceedings, and they knew it was going to be attended. They filed I don't know what it is, but they posted something on X. Uh, so it was like basically an alleged 10-point. Actually, I think they claimed to be evidence. 10 points of evidence, they said, which shows this is a promotional nonsense. They use some different words than that, but that, in essence, was their claim. But this time in their name, it says shorts. So in their prior uh, program, their research, Capybara Research, that short report didn't reference shorts, but now we have the specific reference to shorts in their name. Of course, they don't identify who they are, where they are, anything like that. So super transparent, which gives you a great feeling of credibility of these jokesters. Um, the timing obviously is suspect because it's done just like the prior one, just prior to an event. So no name, no contact information that you really can contact them. I've tried. Um, no identifying person. And all we have is a rat giving us the finger, a rat, which is interesting that they did choose the rat. So basically, in their tweet, let's say, purporting to give evidence, they dealt with, and I'm just going to briefly go over a few of the points, just kind of knock them out of the water. They dealt again with the revenue point. They said there had been no increase in revenue, or not specifically alleged. Most of this report is not specific. It's alluding, implying, but really kind of without any kind of specific proof or evidence. Just read it for yourself if you so choose. But everybody read the first one, which also was lacking. Also, it lacks in quality and punctuation, but I'll get to that in a second. But as to the increase in revenue, of course, it's increased every year. I think the earnings call was 83 or 86% increase year over year. So I don't know what the allegation is. And also, they're closer to profitability. So not just increased in revenue, but they're reported increased or a move towards profitability. And if they, again, not financial advice, but if they become profitable, obviously the calculation and their value will change also because the multiple will change. So didn't quite understand that point. And they obviously didn't direct the profit point. Um, the next point that really caught me in particular as I look it up was they made some references to a broker who claimed to be a broker who was a shareholder, and that his promote, which I didn't understand the language, his promote, which suggests maybe somebody who drafted this is not from the United States, or English is not their primary language, or just an error and they didn't proofread it and they just put it out. Just kind of says something else. But they were talking about a broker who's a shareholder. Hard to tell. I don't understand the significance. And again, no evidence of anything. They talked about patents, that they couldn't find certain patents. I couldn't tell if they couldn't find them because they were incompetent or they didn't look in the right place. They said there were trademarks, so they acknowledged there was intellectual property. But again, it was unclear of what the point was, where they looked, whose patents they were looking for, and why the trademarks weren't sufficient, and where they looked and who looked. Without that, again, more incredible nonsense, in my opinion. This is all my opinion looking at this stuff. Certainly not worthy for court. None of this stuff. There was reference to an auditor or accounting issue. Not that there was any accounting issue in this case, but again, just guilt by association, which this is what this particular short reporter seems to specialize in. Uh, and I'll kind of flip it around on that in a second, but makes some reference to accounting which seems to be something that somebody else said that they copied, and I don't know if that person I think that person was a Mr. Slocum, I think. I don't know if that person is Capybara or some connection, but it certainly doesn't say anything ultimately. It doesn't make an accusation of any kind of specific accounting issues, just guilt by association. Um, so those are the main points that are covered. Nothing with any factual detail. All illusion, all guilt by association, all just accusations. And in the end, the thing that struck me the most, so, no name, we don't know where they are, guilt by association, no factual evidence. So nobody could testify in court as to any of this. And in the end of their little tweet, they said, any short who wants to reach out and follow up with us, please do so. So again, I'm not a criminal lawyer. But you wonder if someone is soliciting that type of information, and the information they're trying to use might arguably be to manipulate the price of stock. Is that solicitation, or is that conspiracy to commit securities fraud? And this person seems to be asking the shorts to join in. So it's an interesting position. If a short now joined in based upon that invitation, since the SEC and the DOJ are apparently investigating all this stuff, it seems to me they would expose themselves to a great risk. But what do I know? What do I know? But if it were me, that's what I'd certainly be concerned about. But it ain't me. So now, lastly but not least, it's interesting. There's guilt by association. So if I use the same tactic referring to this particular poster or poser, depending on how you looked at it, I would say he's a short seller, who's immoral, who lacks transparency, who offers innuendo with no facts, openly seeks out co-conspirators. Not a pretty picture. That's just kind of my opinion based upon what shorts do. And so, because shorts do that, and based upon what this particular, whoever this is, said, I got to guess that this person must be that, just like the short accuses some amorphous person of that. So, again, complete lack of transparency, time to do the most damage. Shorting, so they benefit if the stock price goes down. Made a public pronouncement. I can't imagine that they're going to be sleeping well. And I can't imagine anybody who shorted it after this was posted, shorted in any real numbers, is going to be sleeping well. At least, again, they came to me. I'd say be careful, because anybody who's soliciting for others to join him in a plot to manipulate the stock, that to me sounds problematic. But what do I know? Anyway, that's my quick take on Capybara Part 2 that came out last night, that I thought was even less significant than the first pile, but it did seek to solicit others and may have in some way invoked violations of either certain laws or criminal laws, but I don't make those kind of decisions, nor am I a criminal lawyer. So anyway, hope it puts that in perspective if you happen to come across it. If you don't, no harm lost, no time wasted. Anyway, be well, take care, have a great night.